Alright, guys, we're back at 50 Days of Sketching one more time, yet again, and we're on number 23. The prompt is movie night, and man, I love movie nights. I grew up in a really small farm town. There wasn't really much to do, and this was when I couldn't really drive because I didn't have my license. But movie nights were a blast. When you live out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of cornfield farms in the Midwest in America, there's nothing really much you can do as a teenager, at least that doesn't involve with drinking. I didn't do that, so I looked forward to the movie nights that I had with my friends. It would typically be a slumber party movie night, and I have very fond memories. What I'm drawing here is a reference to a movie, which hopefully you'll get. I won't spoil it until the end. But man, sleeping over as a teenager at your good friend's house, and you're hopped up on soda, not alcohol. Mountain Dew was our choice of drink, and we made a Mountain Dew pyramid, a Dew-ramid. I can't really. I'm trying to mix Mountain Dew with pyramid. It didn't really turn out. We drank a lot of soda, and in my household, we did not have soda. The only few times we had soda was if we hosted a party for a family event, and when that was gone, it was gone. Other than that, we had just water, coffee, tea, and that's about it. So it was a beautiful moment when teenage Chris got to drink as much soda as he wanted to. And did I indulge? I certainly did. I'm surprised I didn't have as many cavities as I should have when I was a adolescent boy. But when you're young, you can get away with stuff like that. I can't do that right now. I mean, I can just down a bunch of soda, but boy, oh boy, I'll feel like trash in the morning tomorrow. And yeah, I don't recommend that unless it's a special occasion. But yeah, we would just stay up all night, talk, tell goofy stories. Sometimes there'd be a bonfire, and yeah, there's nothing really much to do when you're in a rural part of the town. Plus, you can't drive, and there is no way you're walking in the middle of the country all the way to a grocery store or the mall. That just doesn't exist within walking distance when you're in the cornfields of the country. Yeah, it was good. When Netflix rolled around, now it's becoming more popular. That made our movie nights even longer. A lot of times, I would choose horror movies because I love horror movies, and some of my friends they despise horror movies, but maybe I put them on it. A good majority of them like horror movies, maybe because I always suggested that. That's what we always watched, at least in my household. You could, when you could rent VHS and DVDs, every time my parents, they would choose one video, or they choose a movie and they let one of the kids choose. Most of the times we chose horror, and I was the youngest out of my siblings, so I was quite scared. A lot of the times I couldn't even watch with my eyes fully opened at the scary parts. And man, it was a good time. You can't rent. There's not like a Blockbuster anymore. There was a local gas station that we went to that had a rewards card that if you rented 10 times, you would get a free movie rental. And that was a time. I'm kind of nostalgic about it. There was a memo where you'd always have to rewind. The phrase is "be kind, rewind" for the VHS tapes, so that the next person who rents it, they don't have to go through all of it. And when I was a kid, that was amazing. A VHS tape. We don't have to go to the theater. Typically, my parents didn't take us because it was expensive, and they needed to pay the bills and save up. So it was a lot cheaper just to rent a movie for the weekend, and we can watch it as many times as we want. And yeah, we had it for a weekend. I think the rental was for the weekend or 2 days, and we'd watch it. And when I was a kid and we were rewinding the tapes, it felt like it was super fast. Recently, well, I shouldn't say recently, a couple years ago, I got my hands on a VHS tape from a good friend of mine, and I was just playing with it, watching it on my TV, and like, it's taken forever just to rewind it to the start. And I'm like, wow, technology is it moves so fast, and I thought this was fast when I was a kid. I was trying to watch the Blair Witch Project on VHS, and it took maybe 20 minutes just to get to the beginning. And the other thing is, when you have a VHS tape and you rewind it, the image looks crazy. It looks kind of scary. So there was this one time we rented the movie called Jeepers Creepers, and boy, that thing scared me to death, dude. Like, that monster. Oh, I remember during that time, I think we lost the remote to the VCR player, and we had to go walk up in our TV setup. You have to walk up closer to the screen and manually rewind it and play it. And I just remember, like, I think it was one school night. We rented it, and we still had our rental period available, and one of my brothers must have just left it playing, and they walked off. And I heard it, and I'm like, oh, it's this one. And I could barely open my eyes to watch Jeepers Creepers. That scared me. You should not watch that if you're a kid, by the way. Don't watch Jeepers Creepers. And I had to, in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, Mom said if no one's using it, you should turn it off. You save energy, you save electricity. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh wait, I have to rewind it, and I already know it's past where the monster Jeepers Creepers is attacking and whatnot. And I'm like, just don't look at the screen. And we lost the remote. I had to walk up all the way to the VCR player. I'm like, just don't look. But it was right next to me. That we had the VHS player or the VCR right next to the TV, and the static effects and the mechanical winding of the tape, it just made it even creepier. And I'm seeing it backwards. I'm like, oh, it just stuck in my mind. Creepy, man. And maybe that's where my affection for horror movies started, because my siblings, they always scared me when I was a kid, and they would make fun of me when we would watch the scary movies, and I'd cover my eyes with a pillow or cover my face. If you don't know what this picture is about, it is about The Ring, by the way. We rented that one too, the American version. That was on DVD though. I managed to stomach that. That one I could watch, but The Grudge I couldn't. The Grudge and The Ring came out relatively at the same time. I couldn't watch The Grudge. It was way too scary. But they're both the same. Sadako is popping out the TV, and these two boys here freaking out during the movie night. And maybe they got the phone call saying 7 days, And it's been 7 days, you know. They shouldn't have watched the tape. Hopefully that never happens to me during a movie night. I remember, was it Scary Movie 3? Or Scary Movie 3 or 4 where they made fun of it and Brenda was boxing the ring girl. It was pretty funny. But yeah, she scarred me as a kid. Sadako and Kayako. I think that's the Grudge lady. Kayako, that's her name. Man, the Japanese horror films are just visceral, and my brothers made fun of me. They would not give me a break. I was scared to death of these ladies. So if I see a girl with long dark black hair and a muddy white dress at the end of the block, yeah, I'm gonna turn around. I'm not gonna stop. But that's enough about movies and horror movies. That's the end of the sketch. That's day 23 done and dusted. Hopefully you guys don't have a nightmare tonight or experience that on your television while watching The Ring. You guys have a lovely night. Goodbye.